What's happening again, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. We're in here again after a very busy month. We've been gone for Glen Helen, we've been gone for Silver State 300, we were at a monster truck show. For the last month, basically, we've been living out of hotel rooms in different places, and it's time to slow things back down. And it kind of got me thinking. Over the past year, I've finished roughly 4 projects, 3 fully, but 4 projects total between the machine you see in the background over there. That's the wife's race rig. Project Cyborg. Randy Savage, you guys know that one. And the Yamaha. I've either built or modified 4 projects in that time, and it has been absolutely nuts getting those things done. And over the course of the last 5 years, I've built a plethora more.
A what? A plethora.
But there's one project that's been in there this whole time for the last 5 years. It basically was the one that started the channel. You guys remember it as War Rig, the red machine. I've raced that in works, Best in the Desert, Quad X, all kinds of stuff. That thing's been everywhere on trips with me. You guys saw it. Well, the last time I had it out was when I was riding with Pete Hager up in Akeley, Minnesota. And this thing suffered a crack in the frame, an engine that's been through the ringer. The suspension's been beat up. That thing has taken quite the beating over the years, but it's never stopped running for me, other than one time I blew it up. We won't talk about that.
This is dedication right here.
But I figured it's time to bring back the OG to the channel. And this video won't be very long. It's going to be basically an introduction of what I'm going to do. I'm going to change some things. It's not going to be exactly the same as you guys remember. I know a lot of people, including myself, really love the all red look, the way it was built, but what happened with that machine was I bought it as a used machine and just kind of started building and adding things, you know, clicking everything together, going through the engine a couple times, and I just kept adding things to the engine rather than really planning it out and thinking about it. Lone Star gusseted frame, all the powder coat, all the protection package and stuff like that. And I just kind of like would go into the wire harness and splice things in and make it do different things. And now it's time to start from the ground up again. We're going to start right at square one, pun intended, and we're going to build it, but with a little bit different of a plan. So the idea was, originally, I wanted to build a concept, basically what I think Honda should have built or would have built had they kept going. At this point, I don't really care what Honda does. I'm going to build it myself. But the thing is, I wanted to do a CRF swap, electric start, CRF engine, some nice parts on it, and I'm going to make it look like a 50th anniversary dirt bike. That was kind of the idea, look like the CRF 50th anniversary. I love the silver frame with the gold wheels.
I love gold.
Red plastics, blue seat, the white and blue graphics. Looks killer to me. I love that throwback. The quad would look almost identical to that, other than I can't really get the raw aluminum frame, which is what I really wanted to do. But since CRF engines are like $5,500 plus a harness, I really don't want to spend that much money, and I don't have that much money to put into that thing right now. So we're going to rebuild the heart that was in there already, which was a great engine. We're just going to make some tweaks to it. First, let me show you what I have so far for the machine, and then I'll kind of go over some of the things we're going to upgrade. All right, so first, this is what's left of War Rig. I mean, you can see it's in pretty bad shape. It's been ridden really hard over the years and tried to take care of it as much as I can, but when you race it that often, things just break. You guys can see here's the crack that runs through the frame. It's straight through. I could probably save this frame at some point, but I had another frame to begin with. You can see down here, I've got parts off the engine already. I was actually robbing parts off of this to build Cyborg and other machines just to make sure that those ones were up and running. So I would come in here and, you know, I pulled a flywheel off real quick. I pulled a stator out. Wanted to make sure I had good parts in Cyborg. God, look at that. Some of the seals have been leaking for a long time. It's just had a very hard life, and it's time to finally rebuild this thing. But I'm going to build it kind of the way I wish I would the first time. So here's a look at the start of the new War Rig. I don't know if I keep the name. I don't know. Some of you guys like it, some of you don't. That was just the name I came up with at the time. But this is what I have so far. I actually have quite a few parts to begin with. I've had the frame because it came from that one when I had another one powder coated. I had bought some other frames, had that one powder coated, ready for that machine over there. This one was hanging out, and I brought this over to Roll Design. I actually dropped it off with them at Glen Helen last year and had Doug Roll go ahead and gusset this frame. The guy is really good at doing this. That basically he's developed for the TRX 450 over so many years of working with guys like Bo Barron and David Hogsma and a lot of those guys in Works, ATVMX. I mean, Doug's been doing this for a long time, so I left the frame with him and he put his gusset kit in, and then I went and picked it up from them when I went to go visit one time. So Roll Design gusset, what I like about it is lighter than the Lone Star gusset kit. The Lone Star gusset kit kind of goes overboard, it seems like, and there's a ton of gusseting on there. You can see up there by the seat brackets. We don't have that up here. Not really necessary for what I'm doing. So much lighter gusset kit. You can feel it when you lift just a bare frame. I have all the red plastics. A lot of parts I already had from the old rig. You can see up there I have rear fenders, and I have brake rotors, hubs, I have brackets, I have all kinds of stuff that I'm going to yank off of that. CDIs, all that's going to go on here. What's going to get expensive is when I try to get the suspension. That is like the last big hurdle, other than some of the engine work. I can build the engine myself, but there's going to be a lot of parts that I need rebuilt, like the crank. I'm going to have the transmission treated and polished. I'll get into that in a minute, but I'm going to keep going over this so far. You guys can see I got the blue seat. Yep, I've already gone ahead and put the Forwork seat cover on there. Red plastics. I'm going to change the graphics a little bit, going to try to simplify it a little bit. And then you can see right here, I had a set of GPS wheels that I had powder coated to look like the old gold wheels. It's kind of a matte finish. Can't get them anodized around me. It would probably take me forever to get a set of anodized wheels. Can't find original anodized wheels. So I had a set of GPS wheels, went and got them powder coated, got very close with my guy here, Powder Tech 2. Tyler got really close on that. It looks killer. I love that old school look. Had some Hoosier tires laying around, put those on there. Why not? They look awesome. And then you guys can see down here, I already have spindles and hubs, but this is where things are going to be a little bit different. So to begin with, the suspension, I think I'm going to go with Roll Design arms again. I talked with Jed Bunch over there. We can do a MX arm setup with 2004 to 2005 TRX 450 hubs and spindles. That's what I've got down here. So I picked up this set, a very, very clean OEM set of 0405 spindles and hubs. So the reason why I picked these is because the handling is better with these 0405 spindles and hubs. The 0405, when you talk to anybody that's ridden them and then moved to an 06 and up, they'll always talk about the handling kind of got sluggish when it went to 06. The reason being is a lot of the offsets and the geometry of the spindle and where the tie rods connect and everything is different from 04 to from 05 to 06. Honda changed some things and it got worse. So, talking with Roll Design, we can set up the front end to run the 05 spindles and hubs with 06 plus arms. Really, the arms all bolt into place. The big difference between the 05 and the 06 was the steering geometry change. So we're going back to 0405. And I got this really nice killer set of 04 hubs off of eBay. I forget the seller's name, but really, really clean. Still have the old plastic guards and everything on there. So all I have to do, replace bearings and seals, and we should be good to go with that. So that's one change. I'm gonna do the Roll Design MX arms. So they'll be +2 wider, the older spindles and hubs, and steering and everything should be really good handling. Close to LTR stuff, maybe not quite the same. I don't know, we're gonna try it and see what happens. As for the rear end, we're gonna run a stock swing arm. I cleaned up a stock 06 swing arm that I had. I have a original, well, basically just a new OEM chain slider on it. I like the 06 swing arms. They're light because they're made of aluminum. You can get all kinds of linkages for these things. I just like them. They're good to go. So we're gonna run that. Shocks. Still a little bit undecided on shocks. I really like Custom Axis because we've been running those on Randy Savage now for a little bit. I've got these remote resis up front, and these are excellent. I really like them. But in the spirit of trying something different, I was thinking maybe some no lean shocks. I could go back to Elka like I had prior. Kind of don't want to do that. PEP, I don't know, but you guys can see those dollar signs are starting to creep up.
Money, 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 money.
Because I'm gonna be going with new shocks one way or another. The rest of it, I can kind of piece together as much as I can. Linkage is gonna be new. I'm thinking DC6 again, just because I like that one. But it starts getting really expensive in that department. Now, as for the engine, we're going to rip the heart out. It's going to make its way up onto the bench. We're gonna tear it down. That's gonna be another video. And what we're doing different about this engine, we're going to go in, get the crank rebuilt, new bearings and all that. It's nice to start with all fresh. But I'm going to do the friction reduction. Crankworks does a friction reduction, essentially a polishing. Should reduce friction, but I'm also going to do a balance. So I'm going to send the whole piston kit, that means wrist pin, rings, piston, all that goes up with the crank, and they balance the crank with that whole piston kit so that everything smooths out. You don't get as much vibration. Everything should rotate nice and smoothly. That's going to be a little bit different than what I've done before. One thing for sure I want to do is run another JE 12/8 piston. I'd really like to try that again. I love it in Randy. It's a great piston. It's very light, just under 13:1. You can still run pump gas on the thing and not worry about it. I run 110 most of the time anyway, just because it burns cleaner and protects your valves a little bit. But the cam, we have a 208-921 webcam in Randy. That's a nice cam. That thing works great. It moves a lot of air. I've got porting on that head already. I've got a board carb. Well, I don't have a board carb yet. So I have another FCR carb for it. We're gonna bore that one out 42.5, just like all the rest of mine. I really like that combo with the port that OCP does. But there's something new coming out. Jeff at Oregon Coast and Webcams may or may not, I don't know if I can say this, I'm gonna say it anyway. They're working on a custom grind cam that should be maybe a little bit better than the MX cam. So I'd like to try that. I'd like to put it in there and really mess with that, because that webcam was so good to begin with. I'd really like to see what Jeff and Webb come up with. That's gonna be a new addition. Also, something new that I haven't tried yet. I'm gonna pull it out for you guys right now. And here it is. We are going to try the DASA Racing Phoenix 24 pipe. Admittedly, I was kind of against DASA at the beginning of everything. I shouldn't say against, but wasn't really interested. And then they came out with the Phoenix 24. That changed my opinion pretty quickly. It is a really nice looking pipe. I see more and more people running DASA, and then I saw the bronze finish.
I love gold.
And I said, I kind of really want that. I like bronze. It looks really good. Plus, I know that these pipes are making a lot of power. I'm not chasing a ton of power, but I'm definitely not restricting any by running that thing. Plus, it looks killer, so it's going to look really good on the machine. You guys can just imagine that sitting there underneath some red fenders. I think that would look killer on there. So, quality of DASA, it's good. Power, it's good. Looks, it's good. So we're just gonna run that pipe. I wanted to try something different, and it looks like it's gonna fit right at home on that rig. As for the rest of it, you guys can see I've got just a silver frame, and I'm going to go with raw aluminum. I've actually sandblasted it from black to aluminum again, and I had to go over and sand this thing by hand so you can see a little bit of that going on there. I got it smoothed back out, and it looks a lot better than it did because it comes out so rough from sandblasting. Now it looks like the aluminum just went through the pipe bender and then got welded back together, and it looks awesome. And I don't have to worry about chipping powder coat off this thing because I'm going to ride it a lot. As for the silver on the frame, this is actually called Alien Silver, and it's slightly more metallic than the OEM silver that these quads came with. So it's got a little bit more flavor to it. It's a little bit nicer, but it still looks very close to OEM, and that's kind of what I was going for. Plus, that mixed with all the aluminum parts. I'm gonna do the same thing with the Nerf bars and the grab bar. It's just gonna be raw aluminum, maybe just some black nets. Pretty simple. This is going to be a very clean looking rig, and that was the goal. I wanted it to look like a very simple OEM style quad, and we'll get there, but it's going to take some time. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me on this one. It's gonna be a little bit slow. I've only got so much I can do right now, and I don't make very much money, so it's going to take me a while to gather up the parts and get everything on there. But when it's all done, I'm telling you, this is gonna be one of the best things I've ever built. So anyway, that's what I've got cooking right now. I got to kind of slow things down a little bit. I love the big races and going places all the time, but I also have to build these things in order to go on those big trips. So I'm gonna see how fast I can get this done. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna rip down the engine in front of you guys right now. You guys will have to come back for that video. That's next. We're going to yank the engine out, tear it down, and look at what kind of damage has been caused or what kind of wear and tear I put on this thing over the last 5 years of riding it hard, you know. So that will get put on the bench. We'll tear that down. In the meantime, I'll also go over miscellaneous stuff, like I have some front brake calipers I have to rebuild. I have a brake master cylinder rebuild for up here. I have those things to go through with new bearings and all that. I also have a lot of parts here in bins that I need to pull out and start putting together. But you guys will slowly see this thing come to life again, and I can't wait to have this rig back on the channel. It was such a good rig, and I did so many different things with it. Big, long trips. You guys saw me break a upper Heim joint off at IMI Sports Park on one of the first big trips when I did that big round country trip in 2021, I think it was. Oh, some great memories, some not so great memories, but I can't wait to get this thing back together, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So when I tear the engine down, you guys come back for that one. That should hopefully be next week. We'll be able to yank this thing apart and go through it and actually take a look at what we have to fix or what we can improve on. So come back for that video. I hope you guys like this one, and I'll see you guys next week.